Long before the rise of Babylon, Mesopotamian tradition spoke of the APKALLU. These 7 mythic half-fish sages emerged from the ancient freshwater abyss to deliver the foundational arts of civilization to humanity. Their influence ended when Marduk, the chief of the gods, asserted his supremacy. He banished the sages, effectively ending the era of direct divine guidance and replacing them with human scholars. The records define this banishment as a response to specific crimes. These were not moral failings like theft or violence, but rather cosmic offenses, sharing forbidden knowledge and altering divine rights that Marduk claimed sole authority over. This left humanity with a foundational story of knowledge written as a criminal record, dictated entirely from the perspective of the god who claimed the throne. Marduk's worldview relied on architecture. He imposed order through stone and decree, ensuring that knowledge was controlled, esoteric, and guarded by a strict priestly hierarchy. The APKALLU represented the opposite, a state of flow. They operated on the principle of Rita, or cosmic truth, which suggests that knowledge is most potent when it moves freely, like the waters of the abyss they originated from. While Marduk's temples were built to last, the APKALLU side of the story survived through a more subtle medium, the linguistic roots of the Armenian highlands, a region that shared deep cultural and ritual exchanges with ancient Mesopotamia. The ancient conflict was a struggle between structured control and the uninhibited flow of consciousness, a tension that still defines how we manage information today. Because of the historical proximity between the Armenian highlands and Sumer, we can test the resonance of these mythic names against the Armenian Codex. This begins with the prefix AB, found in the word APKAL, or APKALLU. Linguistically, AB is a paradox. It functions as a prefix for reversal, while simultaneously meaning in accordance with. This defines the sages as masters of the threshold. They move in both directions, acting in accordance with cosmic order while rebelling against artificial ones. Under this decoding, the APKALLU were not banished for being criminals. They were banished because they lived at the gate, proving that the strict barrier between the human and the divine is a threshold meant to be crossed. We can observe this linguistic resonance by looking at the specific names recorded on the Sumerian tablets. Standard translations describe ENMEBULUGGA as a lord of disaster. However, when we analyze the phonemes bul and ga, a different meaning emerges. In the Codex, these syllables refer to a knotted fruit and the act of holding. ENMEBULUGGA is actually the threshold lord who holds the golden apple, the fruit of knowledge, at the crossing. Both the sages and Marduk calculated the world using a bag of 10, the numbers 0 through 9, but they used these precise numbers to track fundamentally different stages of consciousness. This progression starts at 0's void, moves to 1's monad, and splits into 2's duality. 4 forms a navigating compass. 6 is Marduk's vertical line of law. 7 is the still point, rotating into 8's spiral, reaching 9, a unified cone of light. The ancient myth and the number wheel are the same map, tracking the exact geometry required for the human mind to awaken. This outlawed map of consciousness survived within the living traditions of the region, specifically within the construction of the Armenian Duduk. The Duduk physically replicates the logic of the APKALLU Codex. The hollow bore serves as the central axis, connecting the breath to the open air. 7 primary holes along the top are physical placeholders for the 7 sages. On the reverse side sits a single thumb hole, the 8th sage, representing the orb that descends into the abyss to anchor the sound. By placing this cosmology into an instrument, the ancients ensured their secrets could be held, carried, and played long after clay tablets were forgotten. Playing the duduk mimics creation itself. The wood remains silent until animated by the breath of the player passing through a double reed. To produce a note, the player must cover specific holes, creating boundaries and structure. This is the architectural mode of Marduk. But the sound only finds its resonance when the fingers lift. It is the act of releasing the structure that allows the air to flow, creating the halo of sound the sages intended. Enlightenment is found at this threshold, engaging with the world's structure, but ultimately allowing the universe's breath to pass freely through us.